then you have to record it. I mean, you could have 20 videos just on this topic. You know. To get started, just any old cheap camera that you got is fine. You know. It's nice if it does 1080p. Okay, if you could get a camera that does 1080p, then when they click the full screen button, it goes full screen. You don't get those black lines down the side. I think 720 cameras will do the same thing, but if you're gonna go out and buy a camera these days, you know, practically all of them do 1080p. There's another letter here, I think 1080i. Don't hold me to that one. I used to know the difference, but 1080p is the better one. But I think the other one would be fine too if you get it at a real good deal. So lots of people use their phone, record videos on their tablet. That's fine. You know, if you know when you'll watch some videos on creating these, and you know, they're looking at top-notch cameras. I've seen videos, they go out and spend $1,000 on a camera, $1,000 on a lens, all types of lighting. You know, no one cares. You know, as long as it's halfway decent. You know, we aren't creating movies for TVs here. 4K is coming out. That's high definition, real high definition. And then I think even 5K is coming out, and I think it's even up 8K or 12K. I think don't hold me to that, but I think I've seen that too. But 4K sounds nice. I researched it, but it's a pain because first you have to buy an expensive camera to record it. You have to record it in 4K. And then you have to have software to edit it in 4K. Your computer, your monitor has to do 4K. The graphics card inside your computer has to do 4K. You have to have real fast internet in order to upload it, because the 4K file is huge. And then when they watch your video in 4K, it's the same thing. You got to have 4K monitor to watch it. You have to have fast internet to download it and watch it. Your computer has to be fast in order to watch it. So there's a lot more to it. You know. I think if you're on a Mac, you're good to go as far as creating them. Okay. I have seen 4K videos on YouTube, and I've been able to watch them on my regular computer, but I don't think you watch them at full quality. You know, you're only watching them at like a 1080p. Okay, so if we go out to YouTube and just do a quick search for 4K. Like here's one recorded in 4K. See, we're watching this in it says it's 4K, but if you click on this little guy here and go to quality, see, we're only watching it in 720p. I can change it to 1080p here. Takes a few seconds. I have slow internet, so it's really not gonna play all that great. So that's a 4K video, but it's playing in 1080p. And you can see that's really clear. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's great for YouTube. Now, if I try to switch that to 4K, it's not going to play on my computer. let's see what happens. I don't think it'll blow up. I think it'll just switch back to 1080p. What 4K is for, though, people who buy those huge televisions they put on the wall, and then they want to watch full-length movies off YouTube, you know, in 4K. You know, they're good to go. They're ready to go. But for most of it, our systems aren't set up for it. I do have a little tablet, a little cheapie I got for like 50 bucks that I can watch 4K videos on. So it doesn't have to be a huge television. So you can see it's playing, but, well, okay, it says it's playing in 4K, but I doubt it. I don't see how it could. My computer's not set up for it. So, like I said, I studied it a little bit, and I'm pretty sure my system doesn't do 4K. So there must be something going on in the background where they can get it to play or something like that. So let's see what it says here. So it says it's playing in 4K, but okay, so that's something that you can research. That's the extent of my knowledge on it. Yeah. It may be something for the future, but right now I don't, as far as I'm concerned, it's not ready. Okay, so if you go out and buy a camera, at least get 1080p. Okay. I started with this little Nikon, and I think I bought this one used for like 50 bucks. And I love it. It still does great videos. The only thing I didn't like about it is if you just kind of touch it, it starts it and stops it. And when you're recording a video, you know, you're trying to hold it and move it around, and you just barely tap it. You know, your finger just kind of rubs on the edge, it stops it and starts it. And that kind of got to be a pain because you never knew when it was going to turn off and on. So I guess a touch screen is nice, but for me it kind of got in the way. But I still love this camera. You know, just don't touch the screen while you're trying to record something, or touch the back of it. I can only get maybe an hour recording, you know, which is great. Most YouTube things aren't going to be an hour long, you know, so it does fine there. And then not only camera, but you should have some type of case. You know, you can get these cases at dollar store for $1. You know, they're hard shell. You have to have some type of case if you're going to kit. You have to have some type of case if you're going to carry it around. You know. Sometimes you buy a camera, you might want to get a second battery. You know, if you're trying to record something and your battery cuts out, you know. And then some cameras, you can put more memory cards in them. Yeah. And then power cord. I also use this guy here. This is probably my main camera now. It's a Canon Vixia HFR52. HFR52. And I bought it, I think it was a demo off Best Buy, and got it really cheap. There's 3 versions. The cheaper version doesn't have built-in memory. The more expensive version has built-in memory, and you can put a memory card in it. See, like right here, if I just flip that off the side, I can take the memory card out. It's actually got a little memory card that you can slide in there. And then in the settings, I can change it from recording to the camera or recording to the memory card, which that really comes in handy because sometimes the camera fills up and then I can just switch it over to the memory card. Okay. I also like this one because if the battery cuts out, I can plug in the power cord here on the side and record it using the electricity right off the wall. That's a real nice handy feature, and I actually use that one quite a bit. Like right here is the power cord. See, I can just plug this in on the side here and it starts to charge, but I can also record while the power cord is plugged in, even if the battery is drained. That comes in real handy. It's also nice to have a camera that you can flip that around, because while you're standing in front of it, you can see where you're at. You know, if you're standing in front of this and you can't see this screen, well, you could be standing way off here and you may not even be in the picture. So you have to have this guy. You know, if you're doing this alone. You know. One thing that you may not think about too when you're recording, you know, don't talk to this. Talk to this, because you can, when you're watching a video, it's real odd when the person is watching here. You know, your eyes aren't on the screen. So what happens to me here is I'm watching my screen here because I'm working on the computer stuff here, but my webcam is way over here. Okay, I've tried it where I put my webcam right in front of the screen, so I'm looking at the webcam and my computer screen at the same time, but the webcam gets in the way of the mouse and it just got to be a hassle, so I just don't worry about it. And then I also picked up this one here, and I just got this one as like a backup in case the other one goes bad. This is a Bell and Howell, and it's almost impossible to read this. DNV 16HDV. Bell and Howell DNV. D as in David, N as in Nora, V as in Victor, 16HDV. And I bought this one refurbished to the reason why I like this one is because it does the night vision. Now that sounds cool, but the pictures kind of come out like weird. It's not a regular color. You know, you aren't really going to see a color video. You know, but it will do night. This guy here, it will pick up in really low light, and it still looks like normal lighting. So this guy does really good. I would recommend this Canon to anyone. So it's nice to have an external microphone, like for these things. You know, you don't really need one, but if you're recording outside and you're 30 feet away, you know, it won't pick up the sound all that great. You know, this one, there's actually an external microphone that you can buy that's wireless. It's pretty expensive. Last I checked, it was like $175 or something like that. But you plug in one thing to the mic jack, and then you can wear a little mic on your shirt, and it sends a wireless signal from your shirt mic to the camera mic. Let's see if I can find that. Okay, so here's the wireless mic. See, one of these goes on the camera and one of them goes on your shirt. So that's a nice feature for that camera. Okay, so if you're going to get a camera, make sure it has a microphone input where you can plug in a microphone. Different cameras take different microphones, so you can't always just buy a generic microphone and plug it in. So you just have to do some research on your camera. Basically, you have to have sometimes you have to have a cardioid microphone. Let's see if I can. Okay, so some cameras you have to have a cardioid microphone. That just means the microphone has power going to it. There's power going to it from the camera. Some mics, like this one here, there's no power. You just plug it into the computer and it works. But some are like a special microphone. These are a better quality. So this Sennheiser is a good name, and that's a pretty good price too. So I'm not saying buy this mic, that's just the first one that came up in my search. Okay, and then there's lighting. Some people really get carried away with lighting. My experience, no one really cares. But just to give you a general idea. Just to give you a general idea, you can buy these kits. And you know, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea. I've fiddled around with this stuff a little bit, and if you're gonna try to do better lighting, just buy one of these kits. I bought a few lights at the hardware store and things like that. And, you try to record a video under them and it gets really hot. You know, you got all these lights coming at you. So that's why it would be nice just to buy this kit. You know, that's actually not a bad deal. Around Christmas time, when Amazon does all their deals, you can get them even cheaper. There's different setups. I think I watched one video where the fella said at least get 5. Got one or two in the back of you. You know, doing the top of your head, 1 or 2 in the front, a couple on the sides, and then you have to have a couple on like your screen. You know, if you're writing things out. You know, so there's a lot to it when you start looking at the lighting. Depends on what you're trying to record. And since we're here, here's a green screen setup. It's just a cloth, a green cloth that you can hang behind you. And then you can actually download picture files that you can bring into your software and put those behind you, so it looks like you're sitting on a real movie set or a real news set or something like that, and it actually makes it really easy. And it doesn't have to be green. I think there's blue ones too. And inside your software, you just pick a color. And I think you can pick any color, but green or blue is the most popular one. You just can't wear a green shirt the day that you record. That's when you record a video, it's nice to have a somewhat clean background, because because then when people watch your video, a lot of stuff doesn't have to be rendered on the screen, and it makes your video faster, so they can watch it. It downloads faster because there's not a lot of stuff on the screen, so it will download faster. But these days, I think most internet connections are fast enough that it can handle stuff like that. That's why behind me I don't really worry about it. You'll need some type of tripod. Unless you have 4 hands, you always have a helper. But a tripod is nice because then the camera doesn't jiggle. Even if you have somebody to stand there behind the camera, if they're holding it, they still might jiggle a little bit, or they might drift off. You're trying to talk about something and they're getting bored, they start drifting off, So a tripod just holds it in place. I like this setup here. This is actually 2 separate items. I think you can buy them as a kit though. This is just an iPhone holder, and then I use it on this camera here. It seems to work good. I put a little piece of Velcro here in here so it doesn't slip out, and then just kind of stick it in there like that, and when I turn it on, the front of the camera comes right out here, and I have full access to the back. So I thought it worked good there. And then this guy, it's got a standard screw on it, so this will screw into here. Now there's different types of tripods. That's just a personal preference thing. I have been wanting to get one with the stiff legs for like a tabletop, because I found there's times that I'm stacking this one up on books or something, trying to get it at the right level. I have a bigger one, big tall one that sits on the floor, but sometimes if you're trying to work around that, those legs spread out 3 feet or more, and it's kind of hard to walk around it. If you're working right around a table, trying to work around your tripod, so that kind of gets to be a pain too. When you record, you have to be aware of a radio playing or your television playing. If there's music playing in the background, something off a radio or television, YouTube will mute the sound on your video, because the music you have playing in the background is copyrighted. So it's best just to turn everything off. Most people I've seen, they just don't play any music. There's music that you can buy that you're allowed to use in your videos, but if sometimes YouTube gets that wrong and the sound is still muted. Your voice is muted too, not just the music, your voice. So most people just don't play no music, and then they don't have to worry about it. It's just too much of a hassle. YouTube has music that you can download and add to your videos, and I've done that in a couple, but it's just not worth the work. Like when I'm watching a video, personally, I usually have my television on, or I'm listening to my own music. I don't need to listen to the music in your video. For me, it's usually just annoying. You know, I'm trying to listen to you talk. I want to learn what you're doing. You know, I don't need to hear this crazy music in the background. You know? And if you're doing this for a living, have a backup camera. You never know when you're going to drop it, spill coffee on it. So. Okay, so we can go on and on with that forever. Bottom line is, if you're just getting started, just start out with a little cheapie. You know, if you're gonna go out and buy one, at least go 1080p. You know, it used to be where you could upload a video that had those black lines on the side, and then there was like an item that you could play around with in YouTube, and that would stretch it out, so you wouldn't get those black lines. But I did that with some of my early videos, and it seemed to work okay. And then I think YouTube blocked that. I'm not sure. I think they don't allow that feature anymore, but it seems, from what I remember, last couple of times I tried it, it didn't work. So these days though, 1080p cameras are like real common. It's not something fancy. All cameras are 1080p now. So